Hello, my little crafty monsters. How's everybody doing? Jesse here with Paper to Masterpiece. And I know it has been a while since I've done a video. I am so sorry. I have just been going crazy with orders and stuff like that. So, I'm back today. Hey! So in today's tutorial, we're going to go ahead and make that spell book storage box that you see in the picture. And what we're going to be using is we are going to be using some of this mixed media. And I purchased this at Hobby Lobbies, and it's by Paper Studio. I love Paper Studio stuff, so this is usually what I get. And let me see, let me make sure that you guys are focused right. Yes. Okay, so yeah, so I buy this, and then if you use your 40% off, it's like way cheaper than $3.99. So you're going to need one of these. Now, I do a lot of projects. I do a lot of albums, and I do a lot of whatchamacallit, like little boxes and stuff like that, but mostly albums. So I usually always have scraps, and I'm talking about like scraps. This is a lot of scraps, guys. So this is why I tell you, don't throw your scraps away, because we're obviously going to use these two, and we're going to cut these down to the size that we need, and that is from scraps. And we're probably going to be able to use these depending on what size these are. Let's check this out. So these are, look at that. So these are 8.5. So we are definitely going to be able to use these. Definitely. See, that's awesome. So we're going to be able to use the side of what we need for the box, which is scraps. And then all we will have to do is just cut. Well, you know what? We might not even have to cut, guys. Because if I'm not mistaken, one of these is already 8.5 by, is it 8.5? Am I saying it? Yeah, 8.5 by 11, which are these two. What? Alright, so we might not even have to really cut that much stuff today. So this is my little sketch, and I'm not following anything at all, guys. I am just going with it. So this is how I'm figuring it out. Now this might not be right. We're going to find out together, okay? But this is how I'm actually figuring it out. So it's a Halloween spell book, and this is what I'm trying to make, like in the picture that we showed you earlier. And the size of that has to be 11 by 8. And that's why I'm telling you that we're probably just gonna have to cut about 1/2 inch on this, so it could be 8 by 11. And then I figured, because we're gonna want like 1/2 inch to be kind of a lip to make it look like the inside of a book. So we're going to just cut it down by about, I would say, 1 inch, so that you'll have 1/2 inch on each side, top and bottom. As we go, so it's going to be like this. It's going to be flushed on the back, obviously, right? But when we cut it down, we're going to want kind of like a little lip, like on the edge over here. So that's what we're trying to achieve. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut down the sides by a whole inch, giving us 1/2 inch on the top and 1/2 inch on the, well, no, because that's not going to work. So if we are going to do only 1/2 inch this way, then these ones will have to be cut down to 7.5, right? So make sure we get that down like that. So 7.5, and then we're gonna hot glue these together, and And so, like I said, this is how I'm figuring it out. I'm just doing it in my head. So let's see how that works out. All right, so let's put this aside and let's start cutting. Our first cut is going to be these. And in order to cut chipboard, I'm using my heavy duty paper cut. This is the mama of all the Fiskars. This paper cut is amazing, guys. My desk is so small, I wish I had a bigger desk, but we have to work with what we have, right? So here's the thing. Let's see, we are going to cut this. This is 11. Let's just make sure it's at 11. Yeah, that's 11. And then we're going to cut this at 8. I already have those measurements. So we're only cutting off 1/2 inch. Whoa. Okay. You have to really put some pressure into this. So this is basically the size of our book. It's going to be 11 inches by 8. So put that aside. And let's get this other one. And we are going to cut this one at 8. Because we know this is 11, so. Okay, so maybe, hold on. Let me bring the blade over here, because it's easier for me to push than for me to pull it, because it's going to come all directly to me, and it's going to get out of frame, and we don't want that. So. Sorry if the camera shook. Got to put a little pressure into that. Okay, so now for the long sides, we are going to cut these at, I don't know how deep I want the, well no, I want it to be at least about 2 inches, right? 2 inches, and yeah, we'll do it by 2 inches. So they're all going to be cut 2 inches in width. Sorry about that. I could have probably just did 2 on this one. How big is this? Oh no, I wouldn't have been able to. I thought it was like 4 inches. For some reason in my head I saw 4 inches. So let's cut this. Chipboard is really hard to cut, guys. so hard. Okay, so now we are going to cut these long sides to 10 inches. Okay, can you guys see it? I think I'm out of camera on the actual cutting, but I have the description, the measurements up on the screen. Whoa, see, that's what I'm saying. It's easier sometimes for me to push it than it is for me to pull it. I don't want to make a mistake, so let's do this. So that's the right size on that one. We're going to cut this one at 10 inches as well. Okay, so these are going to be the sides. And these ones, I said we were going to cut these at, so we're going to cut these down at 2 inches, obviously, because they have to be 2 inches. And these look like they are 2 inches. What? They're shy by like a little smidge. I'm going to cut it on this side, because this one's not that straight. It was actually just a little sliver. Yeah, 2 inches. Nice. So let's make sure this one's too. Oh wait, hold on. We're not. You guys are getting a little too excited right there. So then we're gonna cut the little smidge off of this one too. Hold on. What side is the one that's? Yeah, let's go this way. It's because this side has no cuts, so it's the clean side. Okay. Now we are going to cut these at 7.5. Because remember, our book is 8 inches, and we are only going to take off 1/2 inch. I will show you guys what I'm talking about. And just so you guys know, you will need some more of these when you figure out how you're going to do the little compartments on the inside. But we're not going to worry about that right now. What we are going to do is, because the reason why we're not worrying about that right now is because this is the first time that I'm doing this, and I am actually doing it as I go. There is no plan, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the way it's going. Okay, so give me 1 second. Okay, my little crafty monster, so I'm back. I had to go get my glue gun. So I have my little trusty little glue gun here. And some glue sticks, because we will be needing that to put this little bad boy together. I'm just showing you these 3 sheets of paper that I printed. This is what I'm going to use to glue on the top. So this will be like the cover, and then I'm gonna decorate it and embellish it. I was originally gonna go for like a gory kind of, sort of like the spell book from the movie Hocus Pocus. I wanted something like that, but the problem with that is that I was running out of time, and this is a swap, so I'm very limited on time, and I won't be able to do that right this minute. However, I will be making a video of a gory one because I want one for my home, and I'll go ahead and videotape that within a week or so. But this is some paper that I printed, and it's just spider webs. The majority of this is going to be covered. It's just going to be like little spots here and there where you're going to be able to see it. So this is what I wanted. Okay. So let's glue this guy together. So the way this is going to go is, let me see. So obviously we want the book to open this way. So this one is going to be flushed, sort of flushed on here, like so. Okay. And then you only have a few seconds, guys, to make sure that you align this up properly. The inside, we're going to line it up with felt, so you won't be able to really see where it's glued, or if you have like a little bit of glob of glue. So let's start gluing this little bad boy. So I want to do the spine first. This is basically the spine. Whoa. Be very careful, guys, when using the hot glue, because especially this one right here, because this is kind of a little industrial one. I don't buy this at the craft store. Actually, I buy this at Home Depot. So Home Depot has these, and we're going to leave, I'm going to turn it this way so I can see, because I'm going to leave like 1/2 inch on each side, top and bottom. We're going to hold this down for a little bit. Okay. So this is that little lip that I was talking about on each side. So we're leaving 1/2 inch here, which, I mean, I think it's a little over exaggeration on an actual real book. But actually, you know what? Right now that I'm thinking about it, I just messed up. I was going to round these corners. But I guess we'll just leave them pointy like that. They'll be fine. Okay. So there's that one. Okay. So the next ones we will be gluing them inside this way. And that also will be giving us not even half an inch on this side. And our box is starting to form. Okay. Sometimes these are a little bit wonky, so you have to kind of mess with them a little. Now, because this is going to be attached to the other one that's already there, we have to glue one side of, well, you're skipping some spots, Jesse. We're going to have to go along this side as well, too. So this could glue onto this guy. So it could be like this, right? Then we will glue this guy this way, and our box is forming. Again, these little guys are a little wonky, so we'll have to play with them. Ah. Okay. I'm not even drunk and I can't even do a straight line, guys. What is going on here? Oh my god. This guy's gonna dry way before I'm done. The good thing is this glue gun is really, really hot. So the glue does stay hot for a long time. Hold these guys down. See, there's our box forming, guys. Now I did go in a little right here but it's okay. I'm not really a professional box maker, so that's the best I could do. And I'm not going to really worry too much about it. This one, should I put it inside? Does it fit? No, it doesn't. So we'll have to put it out. This one's going to be tricky. Because that's where those two will basically meet. Oh, sorry. I just bumped the damn camera. It's not good. So I'm assuming my decoration skills is going to come into play when I try to hide this glue stuff. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put glue in the inside because, like I said, we're going to cover this with felt. So you won't be able to see the inside. But I want this to really, really, really stick. So all I'm doing is I'm just running a line in the inside, all the corners. Like that. Don't get too crazy with this though. You don't want globs of glue. You just want to kind of have like a little seal. Make sure that everything is sealed. And the inside, it's okay because nobody is going to see this. It's the outside that I'm worried about. But, okay. So, there's that. And we have the lip over here. Not such a big lip, but... And... What we are going to do is... We're going to tape this one with some paper in the inside and on the outside here so that this is going to be able to open and close. We don't want to glue this down because if you glue this down you'll never get this open. So in order to achieve that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get some of this paper. Okay. This doesn't have to be fancy, trust me guys, because we're going to hide this. Let me get some scissors and some glue. My Eileen's tacky. So, I'm not really worried, like I said, about how pretty this is going to look because it is all going to get hidden. So I'm just going to cut 2 strips around the same size, like so. I'm not worried about how cute this looks. Nobody's ever going to see this. Put this aside. And what I am going to do is I am going to measure this in here. Again, I'm not caring how pretty this is. So I'm just cutting it this way like this. Okay. Okay, so we got it. So all I'm going to do now is straighten this out a little bit because this guy's getting a little crazy, right? And I'm going to glue him. He's going to be completely glued onto our box. You kind of want to work a little bit faster than I am because this glue does tend to dry pretty quickly. But I just want to get a good coverage. I don't want this to get messed up. So I want to align this up like this. Make sure that it's all aligned up. Right? And then we're going to put this bad boy on here like this. well, this is a little harder than I thought. I'm gonna have to cut off that excess. I should have probably did the inside first. That might have helped a little bit more with making sure that this is you're just gonna have to work it. This part is a little tedious, I guess, for me, because I'm sure that there's an easier way to do this, but we'll put glue on that later. Okay. And then I'm going to put another one in here. Hopefully this one goes a little bit better than the first one. And I think that I should have did this one first. Now, again, this is the first time I'm making this with you guys right now. So, I've never made one of these little booky things. I have a few that I bought at a furniture store, but I've never had, I've never made them. Okay, so I want to glue this really good. Just work all that glue in there. So now this is all going to get covered, so don't worry about that, but there you go. Now you have the opening and closing part. So there's the actual box part. It's not perfect, but it's just for embellishments. We're going to fill this baby up with embellishments, and then we're going to send this out to our person we're going to swap with. Okay, so this is the box. Then, once we got this done, what I want to do is I would want to glue this guy on here. Like that. And then I would just cut off the edges. I'm not too worried about these edges right here because it will get covered. But before we do that, what we want to do is is this the same size? Yeah. I wonder if this will work. We kind of want to bend this kind of like a book. Loosen all the fibers. So you're kind of making it curved a little. Because we need to glue something on the edge right here to complete the shape of the book, because the book is actually domed. So let's see. So I know there is probably an easier way to do this. I'm wondering if heat would have actually helped. Heat probably would have helped, but I figure we'll get there. Slowly but surely. This is that spine of the book. I want this to be completely soft, so I'm trying to break every fiber, not leave any little stiff area, because I want this to be, I want it to bend. Okay, and then we're going to measure this. So we'll measure this to 11 inches. Mark it at 11. We will be using the hot glue gun for this because we want it to be secure and okay. So now we're just going to put this on the edge. Remember, there's going to be paper over this. Now, I know I failed to tell you guys what size paper this was. I'm just really thinking right now. So this is a 3" by obviously 11. So it's 3 by 11. And this is what we're going to use for this little spiny part. And then we will be doing the same thing on this side. So let's go ahead and put some glue. Whoa. This glue is going a little crazy. Okay. And then carefully, guys, carefully. Whoa. Let's hold it down. Don't worry, guys. I'm not burning myself. It is getting on me, but the part that's getting on me is already kind of hard. So if not, trust me when I tell you, I would be screaming. So we'll just press down on these. Press down as much as you possibly can. There you go. So we're going to have to fix a few stuff on this. Once we put the paper too, it'll reinforce all of this stuff, but so far that's what we have. So I'm gonna have to reinforce this right here before we close it out. I'll just put some paper. There's going to be paper that's gonna go around here anyway, some white paper, because then I'm gonna draw some lines to make it look like the sheets of paper. So yeah, I think we got the book part right. There you go, guys. So this is the book part. We're gonna go ahead and glue this. So all I'm gonna use is some Mod Podge and okay, my little crafty monsters. So I know originally what we were going to do was we put this paper because this was going to be what I was going to decorate with, but what happened was that I didn't like this idea after all, and then I wanted to go with more of a, you know, scarier looking one. So what I did was I looked them up and I liked the Hocus Pocus one, so this is basically what I did. So now the rest of this video, I'm going to show you how I did this. What I used was, I used a box of Kleenex. I picked these up at the Dollar Tree. Okay, so these are at the Dollar Tree. Then I picked up this. It was a 2-pack for $1 of white glue. You could use the Elmer's glue, whatever. I just happened to get this one and it worked amazing. So this is hard. And then we're going to paint this, we're going to stitch it, and basically it's going to be completely done. So on the back, I'm going to kind of do the same similar kind of design so you guys are going to be able to see. I know I didn't video myself making this front part, but right now the video is going to basically show you how I did it. So I mean, you know, you'll basically know. So I'm going to cover this eye because I don't want it to get scratched or anything like that. It was hard to put it in there. I am going to have pictures of them, of it without the eye. So all I did really was I rolled this up. Okay, so I rolled this up, I wet this with paper mache and all that. So let's do this now. Let me show you. Let me put this aside really quick and I will show you how much I used. Okay, so I used this whole thing for the front, so I'm assuming I'm probably going to use the other one for the back. I mean, it's not going to be as detailed because I'm just going to make it look like there's a few more patches of skin. Okay, so this one's empty. Okay. Oh, this has that little safety to make sure they don't dry. Now I didn't measure this. I'm a baker and I'm a cook, so I rarely measure. I eyeball everything. I know that's so bad, but I'm sorry guys, that's just the way it is. Now this project, because I changed the total project in the middle of the video, I'm so sorry guys, but this project, I'm going to tell you right now, is going to basically take a good 3 days because it's going to take for one side to dry completely, and then you're going to have to flip it over and do the other side, and then that's probably going to have to dry for another 24 hours, no, like 12 hours. What I did was I hit it with the blow dryer, so it basically helped it. So like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and roll this, okay, because let me show you what I'm going to do. Let's get a marker. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like, we'll do a patch going like this, and then the other patch will go down like this, and another one right here, like that. So it'll basically be 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 patches. So right? So maybe we'll just take this one out and we'll just make it 3 patches. So we'll do this one, and then this one. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So I'll just act like this middle one is not there. Okay? And I'm going to use these lines as my guides. So this is basically what we are going to do. What I did was I rolled this up. It doesn't have to be tight. Just roll it up. And I only used one, okay? You don't make it too thick. So there's that one. This is gonna be so easy, guys. This is basically how I did the front. But of course I shaped it to an eyeball and all that stuff, so it was a lot easier. And you don't want to make this too tight because remember, you're gonna use this to stitch the stitches, so you don't want it too. This is, so we want to just measure this to make sure. And just know that each one is going to be 2. I'll explain right now. So you're going to basically need 2 here. Okay. We're going to keep rolling because we're going to use these once I start putting the glue on. Trust me. Right now it probably doesn't look, you're all like, what the heck is he doing? But what I'm doing is I'm trying to measure. Okay. And it looks like this is all we're going to need to roll it up. I'm telling you, I know it doesn't look like anything, guys. Just bear with me. The rest of the video, we're going to go ahead and speed it up because I don't want to torture you guys and having you guys view this video in real time. So I'm just cutting the pieces. So I'm just cutting the pieces like this. I was going to put that one right there, but I think I'm just not. So then we'll put this here. Alright, so I know you guys are probably like, what the heck is that? Okay, so that's basically what it is. So let's put these aside because we're going to bring those back right now. And then what we are going to do is we are going to mix water into this. So this spray bottle is just nothing but water. And like I said, I don't measure anything. All I do is I just make sure that this is going to be pretty diluted. So I probably put like 1 part glue, 3 parts water, because I want this to be really, really watery. I don't want this to be too thick. Trust me, this is gonna work because I've been doing this for a while. So this is basically like paper mache. It's paper mache, no? I don't know how to say it, but I think that's the way you say it. So just mix it really, really good. Make sure that the glue and the water is mixed and that it's all combined together and that there is no spots. Nothing like that. Okay. So now that this is mixed, we have our rolled Kleenexes, and then the rest of the Kleenex, it's just going to be regular complete sheets that are going to go over, and I'm going to shape it. You guys are basically going to see how I do it. So go ahead and stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and speed up the video. So right here, what we're going to do is we're paper macheing those rolls of Kleenex that you guys saw me roll. We're going to go ahead and do that. I saturate it with the glue water that I made, which was 1 part glue, 3 parts water. And I saturate it so that it really sticks down to the book itself. And then also too, it really helps so that you can go ahead and form. Then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start laying 1 sheet at a time and I think I laid like 4 on each side, and the top and the bottom part of the book, and I think it was 4. And so all I do is just basically make sure that your brush is really saturated with the glue water, because that's really going to help you as far as forming the Kleenex, and it won't tear it, because when your brush is not as saturated with the glue, it tends to kind of tug on the Kleenex, and it was tearing it. So that's what I found, that having it really soaked and it wets the Kleenex, it basically just settles it down to the actual book, and then it was doing kind of like a little crinkling, so it did like a lot of little wrinkles, which really made it look authentically like real skin. So I really liked it. This was definitely a good project, and I would definitely do another one. And so basically all I'm doing is I'm just laying them down and saturating them and molding them to the way that I want to do this. I'm glad that I went with this idea and not with my original idea when I was going to just decorate that spidered DSP paper. But this one was a lot better. And so I'm really liking the outcome. You guys should definitely try it. It's a lot easier than it looks. And so, yeah, so that's what I did. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and finish the book, and you guys will see the end result. So, welcome back, my little crafty monsters. Finished painting it. Alright, so let me first off explain, for those of you who don't know, I'm colorblind, so painting is pretty hard because of the colors and all that crap. So, oh, did I say crap? Sorry, don't bleep that out, guys. So, yeah, so my blending technique sucks when it comes to painting, especially with acrylics. I'm a lot better with watercolor because it's a little bit more forgiving with the water, but as far as acrylics, I really don't know. But this is basically painted. I'm not really worried about this part, because this part, guys, we're going to go ahead and cover it with something else, and then we're going to go ahead and cover the inside with felt as well. Then I'm going to put like a strip of white paper here, and I'm gonna go ahead and paint like little lines to kind of make it look like the pages, but we're gonna do as best as we can. Now for the eyeball, guys, because I'm gonna explain to you what the process is right now, because the next part of this video is also going to be in time-lapse, hyper time-lapse, so it's gonna go pretty fast. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and stitch it up. Oh my god, I'm so excited, guys. So we're going to go ahead and stitch this up, throw the eyeball back in here, and stitch up the back part. Then we're going to go ahead and glue whatever material I'm going to put on here. I'm not really 100% sure yet. It's obviously going to be paper, but I don't know what paper I'm going to use. So I'm going to think of that, and then we have to gloss the eyeball, because we have to kind of make it look real, guys. Come on. We can't just make it look like whatever. So this is, okay, like all close up right here, guys. So this is basically what I purchased. I purchased this at the Spirit store. I don't know if you guys have a Spirit store near you, but there is definitely a Spirit store in every corner here in California. It's kind of like the McDonald's of Halloween costume stores. So I purchased this, and they were $4.99 for 12. And what I did was I went ahead and I got the color that I wanted, and I cut it in half. So these are kind of like little kind of hard foamy balls, kind of. Can you say that on camera? So foamy balls. And so you cut them in half, and that's basically what I'm going to use. But because they're kind of like dull, they don't really have a shine to them, so they kind of don't look like an eyeball. What I'm planning on doing is I'm going to go ahead and gloss it with some Mod Podge. So I'm going to use this. This is all I have right now, guys. I know there's probably the high gloss one, something a lot better, but this is what I have on hand. And you know me, guys, I'm not gonna go and purchase something just for a project. I'm gonna go ahead and use what you got. So little eyeball. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an upholstery needle. This is really, really big. This is gonna help me to, whoa, calm down there. So this is gonna help me to poke the hole through here so that I could go ahead and string it with a smaller needle and some of this twine. So this is the twine that I'm gonna basically use to make it look like stitching. So this is it, guys. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're gonna go ahead and speed up this video and you guys are gonna see the process. See you guys in a bit. So what we're gonna start doing here is I'm throwing a bunch of paint onto my little palette paper where I'm gonna basically blend in the colors, and I'm gonna try my hardest to make this look like skin tone. I am not good at blending in acrylic paints, and I'm definitely not really good at the colors. Basically because I can't see the colors, so it's pretty hard. But I'm gonna try my hardest. I'm gonna go with the lightest that I could see the lightest, and then go in with the darker and mix in some of the colors. In between where I'm gonna do the stitches, I'm gonna do it a little bit darker because I want it to look like the shadow where the two skins meet. So that's basically what I'm trying to achieve. Not sure if that's what it looks like, but yeah. Then I'm throwing a little bit of white just to give it kind of like a little bit of highlights, a little bit of the skin kind of drying out, so to say. Basically almost done with this part. Then we're gonna just turn it around, and then we're gonna start with the back. Basically the same thing. Just gonna start with the lightest color, start kind of going in with the darkers, blend them in, give a little bit of highlights, a little bit of lowlights in between the crevices where the two skins would be meeting. And yeah, this was not the funnest part for me because I can't see, but for the most part, I really enjoyed making this spell book. It was pretty fun. I recommend everybody trying this. It's a lot easier than it looks, trust me. Once you start doing it, it's a lot easier. So I'm just starting to blend, starting to do the best I can. And, well, you guys will see the end result on that one. So just keep blending, doing a little bit of the highlights and lighter colors and stuff like that. Sorry I'm out of frame. I didn't really realize it until now that I'm narrating. But so then we're just gonna hit it with a blow dryer just to have it dry a little bit quicker so that we can go ahead and start doing the stitching part. This part is a lot of fun. So this part right here was a lot more fun for me. I liked doing the stitching part. Although it was a little bit hard to push that upholstery needle through the little paper mache, because once it was dry it was a little bit hard, but I used a rag at the end of the needle to help me push it in through, so it did help a lot. Other than that, it was fairly simple to do this. You just got to be really careful that you don't pull the paper up too much, because you will kind of rip it away from the book. So this part is easy, but at the same time you do have to be pretty gentle. And then also not to tighten the stitches a little too tight, because you don't want it to kind of rip it. Remember, it is made out of tissue paper, so it is still fragile. I was almost running out of string right there, so you saw that I was kind of just giving myself more. That's what I was doing. It kind of looked like everything was tangled, but it was just that I was moving the string. So this part is pretty easy. The part that kind of gave me the most difficult part is basically the eye. The eye part, for some reason, because I was trying not to really poke into the eyelids. I didn't want a hole in the eyelid, so that part was really the hardest. But other than that, I mean, everything turned out pretty good. You basically learn from trial and error, so I'll definitely do some steps a little bit differently than I did on this first book. So here I'm just finishing up this side of the book. This was the part that it was giving me a little bit of difficulties. I had to use the needle to kind of make the hole a little bit bigger so that the string will actually go through. And if you notice that the twine was a little bit stiff enough to where I didn't need a needle to put it through the stitch. It basically just went in on its own. Then I just tie a knot at the end just to give it that realistic look. And then just pop in the eyeball. Hello, my little crafters. So we finished the painting part and we finished the stitching. So this is basically our finished product. All the stitching. Right? This is the back. So now we're just going to go ahead and cover this. And I'm going to go ahead and speed this up because all it is really, I cut whatever you're going to use, 3 inches. So you cut it 3 inches to go over, and then you're just going to hot glue this just to give it a spine. Now you don't have to do this part. You could go ahead and skip it if you want to do like the original Hocus Pocus spell book, but I wanted to throw my own little twist. This is not identical. This is not what that book looks like, but this is kind of close enough to what that book looked like. So I'm pretty excited, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I'm gonna put this together. I'm gonna throw in all the other little embellishments that I'm gonna use, and this is gonna look awesome, guys. Stay tuned. So right here I'm just using the glue gun to seal down the material that I'm using for the spine. I found this material in the felt section at Hobby Lobby's, and I believe they're like $1.99 for a 12 by 12. So you only need about a 3-inch by 11 strip. It did go a little bit over because it's a 12-inch, so at the end you could see that I'm going to have to cut off an inch. But I really liked how it looked. And because it has gold in it, I'm going to use those gold corners to kind of pull everything together. Those are from a die that I have. If you guys don't have a die cut, they definitely sell them at Hobby Lobby's in the album section. Right here I'm just using a Tombow marker, and I think I'm using the crimson red, and I'm just putting the tip into the little hole where the stitch is, just to kind of give it like a little illusion of blood, and then also to darken that area, because when you poked the hole in through with the upholstery needle, what it basically did was it was showing a lot of white in there, which was a Kleenex that we used as a paper mache. So basically all I'm doing is just covering it. I'm painting it so it doesn't show any more white into it. This step right here is pretty easy. It's just a little tedious because you have to go into every single hole. And then also be careful that you don't hit the twine, because then you're gonna paint the twine. Although it wouldn't really matter because it looks like blood, but you still have to be careful. You could go ahead and skip this part if you don't like this part, but I just wanted to give it more of a dimension. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and measure the inside, because we're gonna cover it with felt. I'm pretty sure that there's a better way to do this, but this is just the method that I used. I just started measuring and cutting, and that's basically how I upholstered the inside, if that's what you call this. It was a little bit difficult because the box kept wanting to close. That's one of the things that I definitely would do different on on the next project if I do another one of these spell books, is that I would definitely do this inside part before I attach the lid, and then I would probably put the felt where I attach the lid last, because that lid was really getting in the way. It just was not letting me work. So definitely one of the steps that I would do different. And then also too, because I think it would just make it so much easier. I didn't really have a plan on how I wanted the inside to look. So you guys are gonna notice that I'm just going as I do it. These are the two side panels that we need. I know there's a lot of glue, kind of looks a little bit messy, but towards the end I will clean it up, make it look a little bit neater. I'm definitely not going to set it off like that, people, so don't worry. Right here I'm just using the scraps of the felt, because you definitely don't want to waste anything. I used two 12 by 18 pieces of felt from Michael's, and I think they were like $2 a piece. So I just used two of those. Like I said, they were 12 by 18, and I had just enough to fill up all the inside. So I'm just cutting off the excess, putting some glue where it's going to basically stick in. And I put it diagonal because I kind of wanted something different. I didn't want that traditional square little compartments. After all, this is a spell book. Now I'm just putting the little separators to make more little compartments. These are basically going to be where I'm going to fill in all the goodies. So we're going to go ahead and do the front lid first. So then this way, whatever is left over, we're going to use that for the second little compartment divider. So this piece right here is basically going to be the size of the lid, which is 11 by 8. So that's the size that I'm cutting this. There's going to be a little bit left over hanging, so you are going to have to trim it, because for some reason, even though I measured it, it just did not come out exact. So this is where I cut off the little excess parts. It's not going to be perfect, but you know, it is handmade, so that's to be expected. Now right here, I'm just going to glue some white paper. This is the paper that we're going to use to make it look like the pages. We're going to do some stripes on it, and you guys will see. So I used 3 strips. I did the 2 sides first, and then the front part, I'm going to use one single one to cover those folds. I was going to cut the edges right here. As you can see that I started cutting it, but then I didn't like how it looks. So what I did was I just kind of put glue and then kind of folded in the paper just to kind of go over. It also kind of gave it like a little rounded look to it. So I was okay with it. So we're almost done with this part. So next, all we're going to do is just do the stripes, and the stripes are going to be so that it looks like the pages. This doesn't have to be perfect, guys, because it has to look like the pages are kind of messed up, like vintage. So right here, we're going to use alcohol. And basically what it does is it smears the ink. So it's not going to be completely white, and it just gives it kind of like a little bit of shadow. And then it just looks really cool. You could skip this part if you don't want. Welcome back, my little crafty monsters. So, you saw how we did this book. Ready? This is the close-up. So this is the book, guys. Doesn't it look amazing? I'm so happy with this book. So I'm just gonna gloss up the eye with a little glossy stuff, and we're done. We're done. This book is done. So now all we gotta do is just fill it up with all the goodies and all those little compartments we made, and send us off to our little swamper. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. I had such an amazing time doing this tutorial on this Hocus Pocus Spell book. I hope you guys had just as much as fun, just as much fun as I did. Stay tuned for more tutorials. Don't forget to subscribe and to like the video and tell a friend. Thank you. Bye, my little crafty monsters.